The galaxy was vast, filled with wonders and terrors alike. But for Captain Elias Grant, it was just another day on the job. As a freelance courier, he'd seen it all. Smuggling rare artifacts, dodging pirate fleets, and even delivering a sentient plant to a botanical research station. But nothing could have prepared him for the sight of two alien princesses begging him to take them as maids. It all started on the backwater planet of Zorith 7, a dusty, forgotten rock on the edge of civilized space. Elias had stopped to refuel his ship, the Starblade, when he noticed two figures lurking in the shadows of the docking bay. At first, he thought they were scavengers, but as they stepped into the light, he realized they were anything but. The twins were stunning. Their skin shimmered like liquid silver, their eyes glowed a soft violet, and their long flowing hair seemed to catch the light in ways that defied physics. They wore tattered robes that might have once been regal, but now hung off their slender frames like rags. Despite their disheveled appearance, they carried themselves with an air of nobility that was impossible to ignore. "Please," one of them said, her voice trembling. "We need your help." Elias raised an eyebrow. "Who are you?" "I am Princess Liriel," she said, placing a hand on her chest. "And this is my sister, Princess Selune. We are the heirs to the celestial throne of the Vey'lari Empire." Elias blinked. "And you're here, why?" The other twin, Selune, stepped forward. "Our father, the Emperor, has arranged a marriage for us to a warlord from the Kryxx Dominion. He is cruel and ruthless, and we cannot bear the thought of being his brides. So we ran away. And now," Liriel added, "we need a way off this planet. We heard you were a skilled pilot. Please take us with you." Elias crossed his arms. "Look, I'm just a courier. I don't get involved in political drama, especially not with runaway princesses. Do you have any idea how much trouble you're in? Your father's probably got half the galaxy looking for you." The twins exchanged a glance, then dropped to their knees in unison. "We will do anything," Liriel said, her voice breaking. "We will serve you, clean your ship, cook your meals, anything. Just don't send us back." Elias stared at them, dumbfounded. "You want to be my maids?" "Yes," Selune said, her violet eyes pleading. "We may be princesses, but we are not helpless. We can work. We can learn. Please give us a chance." Elias sighed, running a hand through his hair. This was the last thing he needed. But as he looked at the twins, he couldn't help but feel a pang of sympathy. They were young, scared, and desperate. And if what they said was true, sending them back would be a death sentence. "Fine," he said at last. "But you'll have to earn your keep. No special treatment just because you're royalty." "Understood." The twins nodded eagerly, their faces lighting up with relief. "Thank you," Liriel said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You won't regret this." Life aboard the Starblade was interesting, to say the least. The twins were true to their word, throwing themselves into their new roles with a determination that surprised Elias. They cleaned every inch of the ship, cooked meals that were surprisingly edible, and even helped with basic maintenance. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. "Captain Elias," Liriel said one day, holding up a broken circuit board, "I believe this is beyond repair." Elias took the board from her, inspecting it. "Yeah, you're right. Good eye." Selune, who was polishing the control console, looked up. "We could try to find a replacement at the next port." Elias nodded. "Good idea. But we'll need to be careful. The last thing we need is someone recognizing you too." The twins exchanged a worried glance. "Do you think they're still looking for us?" Liriel asked. "Probably," Elias said. "But don't worry. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve." As the days turned into weeks, Elias found himself growing fond of the twins. They were quick learners, and their enthusiasm was infectious. But there was still a lingering tension, a sense that their past was never far behind. One night, as they sat in the ship's small galley, Elias decided to broach the subject. "So," he said, sipping his coffee, "what's the plan? You can't stay on the run forever." The twins looked at each other, their expressions somber. "We don't know," Selune admitted. "We just couldn't stay. Not after what our father did." "He sold us," Liriel said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Like we were nothing more than bargaining chips. We thought he loved us, but—" Elias set his cup down, his expression grim. "I'm sorry. That's rough. We just want to be free," Selune said, her eyes glistening with tears. "To live our lives on our own terms." Elias nodded slowly. "I get that. But freedom comes with a price. You'll always be looking over your shoulder, always wondering if today's the day they catch up to you." "We know," Liriel said. "But it's better than the alternative." Elias was about to respond when the ship's alarm blared, jolting them all to their feet. He rushed to the cockpit, the twins close behind. On the view screen, a massive warship loomed, its hull bristling with weapons. "It's the Kryxx Dominion," Selune said, her voice trembling. "They've found us." Elias cursed under his breath, his hands flying over the controls. "Hold on. This is gonna get bumpy." The Star Blade lurched as Elias executed a series of evasive maneuvers, dodging laser fire and torpedoes. But the warship was relentless, its superior firepower slowly wearing them down. "We can't outrun them," Liriel said, her voice filled with despair. "We're going to die." "Not if I can help it," Elias growled, his eyes narrowing. He punched in a series of coordinates, then turned to the twins. "Strap in. We're going to hyperspace." "But the jump drive is damaged," Selune protested. "We could be torn apart." "It's our only shot," Elias said, his voice firm. "Trust me." The twins hesitated, then nodded, buckling themselves into their seats. Elias took a deep breath, then activated the jump drive. The ship shuddered violently, the stars outside blurring into streaks of light. For a moment, it felt like the Starblade would be ripped apart, but then, with a final bone-jarring lurch, they emerged on the other side. The view screen showed a peaceful starfield, the warship nowhere in sight. Elias let out a breath he didn't realize he'd been holding. "We made it." The twins stared at him in awe. You saved us," Liriel said, her voice filled with gratitude. "Don't get too excited," Elias said, leaning back in his chair. "We're not out of the woods yet. But for now we're safe." Selune unbuckled her seatbelt and threw her arms around Elias, hugging him tightly. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for not giving up on us." Elias hesitated, then gently patted her back. "Yeah, well, you're not bad to have around. Just don't make a habit of almost getting us killed, okay?" The twins laughed, the sound like music in the small cockpit. For the first time in a long time, they felt a glimmer of hope. They were still on the run, still hunted, but they had each other, and they had Elias. As the Star Blade drifted through the stars, Elias couldn't help but smile. He'd started this journey alone, but now he had two unlikely companions. And who knew? Maybe, just maybe, they'd find a way to outrun their past and carve out a new future together.